Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Virtual Trade Show. It's Matt Johnson here, Commercial Director at Trader, and some of you might know Simon over here.
Thank you, Matt. Welcome, everyone, to our 3rd episode. Fantastic to be with you this evening here in Adelaide.
Good. Now, we're trying something a little bit different tonight. We actually had been doing this later in the afternoon, and we did run a survey on the last one, which categorically said do it in the afternoon. But then we got some feedback on social media that we'd forgotten a whole lot of people. So we've gone for something a little bit different, and we're trialling it at night. So we're sitting here in the pitch black in Adelaide. It's pouring the rain outside, and there's no better place than to be here with you guys to talk about Powermesh and why it is better than the rest, which is the topic today.
Thank you, Matty. You can see we're social distancing as best we can, keeping the 1.5 metre spread here on Trader TV.
Excellent. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through a few slides for you this evening and talk a little bit and have a general chat about a number of different topics. We're also going to try and show just some very short videos to give you an example of why Trader is so easy, why Powermesh is so easy to use. Now the video we've been trying to get working properly on Zoom, and it's been a bit jumpy in past presentations. So we're going to do something a bit different, and we've just got a camera trained onto a computer screen, and it looks okay. It's not perfect, but it's better than having it jumping through the network. So what we'll do is get underway and start to talk a little bit about what this subject is all about. Now, one of the things that we are presenting here is a good friend of mine, really obviously, but there are so many choices now on the market when it comes to smart home, automation, connected spaces, however you might want to call it. And everyone's really confused about how do I choose, where do I start? And what ends up happening is most people just say, it's all too hard, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. It's a real challenge for us, I think.
It is, and one of the things that we're very passionate about is making sure that when consumers in the market are making these choices on connected spaces, that they ask the contractor, and the contractor's really confident to say, we can solve your problems. We have a very simple, scalable solution that the contractor, as our partner, can understand. So this is a world where you've got lots of choices, and it can be confusing, like the slide, Matty, but we want to try and make our system the simplest, best for the contractor to offer their clients to solve problems.
Absolutely. So one of the questions we've been asked on a regular basis is, why is Powermesh better? What are the differences between Powermesh and all the other options? So that's what we've focused on tonight to go through. Now, like I said, too much choice, I don't know where to start. Whenever we're presenting Powermesh to people, that's the sort of response we get. And then the other one is, look, I'm not too sure. What if it goes wrong? I don't want the callback. I'll just wait and see how this evolves. And what we're saying is we need you guys to take it, grab it, and run this into the market as fast as you can, or we'll miss this opportunity. We're going to talk about it a little bit later on, and just in what can happen if the contractors don't own this, the wholesalers and suppliers, own the smart connected spaces in the home and offices and wherever else we might be installing them, then we're going to be left to watch this whole market disappear into the likes of JB Hi-Fi or others that have similar products.
And it's so important, that comment up there, if it goes wrong, I don't want to do a callback. A callback is the contractor's biggest nightmare. It's money, time is money for the contractor. So we've got to have a system that the contracting community of Australia understands, they're confident with, they can go in, provide a solution, knowing that they're not going to have to do 1, 2, 3 or more callbacks if things go wrong. So it's got to be robust, it's got to be simple, and we want to avoid the callback. We want the confidence of the contractor to get behind connected spaces, because, Matt, it is our biggest single opportunity as an industry generally around Australia, and that globally for that matter. We've really got to be, for that to be embraced by the contractor, and not for them not to be afraid of it, because you don't have to do a callback if we get it right together.
Absolutely. And that's what we're all about. How do we make it work for you? So on the next slide, this is a bit of fun. It's a slide that's been doing the rounds. And for those of you that are in the electrical industry, you would have heard the term, the race to the bottom. What we do really well in the electrical industry is come out with a new technology, and we all say, how cheap can we sell it? And that often comes because we don't understand the benefits, or we're not perhaps as an industry able to sell those benefits and make ourselves and our offer stand out from the crowd. We look at the product and we go, I reckon I could make 10% on it. The guy next door goes, I could make 9%, I could make 8%. Before you know it, we're selling it under cost, giving it away because price is the only lever we've got. what we really need to do is make sure that all of us as an industry understand the connected spaces realm really well, and we sell the differences and the benefits that these products offer, or we will race to the bottom. And you can see these two guys sitting there just doing a disservice to each other. Really, they could have both been doing quite well out of it, but they've raced to the bottom. And we don't want to do that. We need to find a way where we can sell these wonderful products that are new and got great ideas and great concepts. And one major comparison I want to make is for years, one of the products, Cbus, has been sold around Australia, and it's been sold at a really high price. And there's been many cases where customers love the idea and the concept, but when they get a bill for, say, $30,000, they say, I'm not willing to go down that track. What we're trying to say is now, all of a sudden, we can automate a whole home for under $5,000. You can get started for about $300, and yet we're all saying it's too expensive. Well, hang on a minute. Last year, or go back 3 years, we were talking about $30,000, $40,000 to automate a home. So surely we as an industry can sell for $3,000 a wonderful system.
100%. And it might sound expensive to some, but it's probably the most cost-effective way to add so much value to an installation. And as an industry, it can't be a race to the bottom. It's got to actually be an opportunity. As we said in the last couple of roadshows, Matt, this is without doubt, in our experience, we've been around a few years together, the biggest single opportunity as an industry we've had to upsell and unlock the wonderful power of things like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, connected spaces, voice controlled, artificial intelligence that's coming, all the things that it brings. Contractors have got to get engaged, and they can't, really as an industry, we can't afford to be afraid of this stuff. We've got to get out there and really push it. So there's so much value to add. Let's not race to the bottom.
Absolutely. Some good advice there. So we're going to go through 7 key things that we think really sets us apart. And there's a whole lot of other little bits and pieces. But number 1 is simplicity. There's no doubt, and you'd be facing it if you're an expert in this area, is how do we get this new product area and all these wonderful benefits out to the market and get people to put it into their homes and or offices and the like. The real challenge here is to take technology, which is really complex in the back end, and do all that behind the scenes, and then just leave the installer or the end user with just one piece to put in. So it's taking all that technology and making it, or hiding it essentially, and making it simple so that the user experience is just so simple and is a really enjoyable experience for the consumer.
And also for the installer together, Matt. And there's been so many examples we have had around Australia with contractors dabbling a bit with the Powermesh semi-offer. And once they give it a go, feedback to me, wow, that was easy, that was simple. I didn't know it could do all of that. I'm feeling really confident about having it a go next. So simplicity just takes away some of that fear. And it's just got to be so simple where we can get familiar with it and do it over and over again. So simplicity in all the things we do, product hardware, the software, the user experience, and some of the other things, Matt, we're going to talk about in relation to why our offer is better. It's just all about making that experience for the end user, the installer, simple and therefore friendly, and therefore you'll want to do something again.
Absolutely. So what we've done is a little graphic that Jordan Tentori put together for us. He can join us this evening, but it's all about that end user experience, as we're saying. So Powermesh really combines the experience between the contractor and the end user. You can see from this slide that the contractor is fully responsible for installing the product. That's what it is. It's switches, it's sockets, it's dimmers, fan controllers and the like. You need a licensed tradesperson to go in and install this product. Then setting up of the product is a shared experience with Powermesh. The contractor can do most of it and the end user could take it on. But if they're not interested in taking on that setup, the contractor could do it. It's going to depend on the level of knowledge of the person. And as contractors, you're going to know some customers that want to get involved and tell you how good they are at technology, and they'll want to play a part in that. And others won't, and you'll be able to take the whole role. So Powermesh enables you to own, between half and 2/3 of that experience. And then the consumer uses the product without any need for you as a contractor. What we've seen in the past with a complex wired system is that the contractor is required to install the product, the contractor is required to set it up, and the contractor might even be required to use the product in that they might need to set schedules or go through that sort of programming range. I know Simon had Cbus in his house for many years, And he's had many an experience where he needs to change the scheduling and he's got to call a contractor or systems integrator back in to change.
Absolutely. So you've got a wonderful combination here of trying to make it such that we protect the contractor's rights as fixed wire devices by law, and that's fantastic. So we get that opportunity, but we make it a nice, simple, seamless experience where it's not all dependent on the contractor or it's not all dependent on the end user, and we can work together to make that as simple and as friendly and as, and the experience generally to be a nice one, because quite often when they're complex systems, it can be a journey, it can be a trial, there can be mistakes, there can be frustration. So how do we make sure the contractor and the ultimate user are working together for simplicity and therefore the experience in general?
So this is where we come to the next one, because the next experience that we're going to go through is what we want to avoid as an electrical industry. Because if we go this way, we've all wasted our time sitting on this call here this evening. And that is that we don't take ownership of this. We don't sell the benefits to our clients. We don't try and upgrade customers and get a premium for our products and a premium for our service to install these products in the home. And the consumer goes and does all the work themselves. They find products on Harvey Norman or Bunnings or Woolworths or wherever it might be, and they grab the novelty plug-and-play products and they install the product themselves, they set the product up themselves and use the products, and no one in this room or on this line is involved in that at all whatsoever. We have to keep this opportunity inside the trade. That's what Powermesh lets you do.
And there will be lots of plug-and-play gimmicks out there that are taking advantage of the world of Google, the world of Amazon and connected spaces. And there are always going to be those complex wired systems that might be better for more complex installations. But there's this wonderful sweet spot in the middle that we've been talking about, and that is respecting the contractor, the fixed wire device. You can't control lights in this country without doing it at the switch. You can't get to the switch without being a contractor. And therefore, we've got to bring this experience together so it's also nice for the end user. So it's all about making sure the electrician and our industry in general, with our wholesale partners, captures this opportunity, because otherwise it'll just become an end user play. The experience will be poor. And for those that have installed the Philips Hue system or some LifeX bulbs, it's not a very nice experience. You can't really find the lights you need to change. You've got light switches on the wall. It's got to be retrofittable based on existing wiring, which is what Powermesh and Zimmy lets us do. So we've got to capture that as an industry.
Huge advantage. So what we come to now is we're talking about simplicity. We just want to show some examples, and this is where things could get a little bit messy, as it already has. So I'll just go on my computer for a second.
We're showing some basic, simple ways that we log in, and we'll just show you some videos to just be in between Matt and I and just show you some of the things that we've got up on the screen.
No problem. I can help you with this. First, download Zimmy from your favourite app store. Next, create an account if you don't already have one, then continue to log in. Welcome to Zimmy. Let's start by clicking on Powermesh to create a new network. Let's name it My Home or whatever you'd like.
Really simple process there in terms of what Powermesh and how it operates. And we're going to go through and continue just to show you some real short snippets, but that's how easy it is to log in. No one can be concerned about that. That gets you up on Zimmy, gets you up and away. So simple to log in. Then the next step also is simple to install. Now, most of you would be contractors on the line from what I can see, and it is you can't really get any more simple than this. You can grab, this is why retrofitability of Powermesh is such a key. There's no pucks required. You're not going to end up trying to jam all these different pucks and wires into the back of the wall. You can take your standard puck 2G that you can see on the wall there, or equivalent product, off, and then you can throw the Powermesh product, PowerPoint, which is on the bottom left of that screen, into that same place. It wires like a PowerPoint, you're up and away, and instantly that will work as a PowerPoint. It's not a smart PowerPoint at this stage because you haven't paired it and you haven't unleashed the true power of Powermesh. But what you have done is you've basically got a product that if you click on either of those dollies on the left or right on that PowerPoint, it will work as a PowerPoint.
So I look at that, Matt, what the slides you put up on the screen, and what it oozes to me is we're all familiar with the Puma Double PowerPoint, which is out there and familiar to all of us. It's out there installed literally in the hundreds of millions of devices. And so what it says to us is every one of those you look at around the country, in a school, in a home, in an office, is an opportunity for us to get involved in connected spaces. Wherever we see a double GPO, you look at our Powermesh version, it was designed in that Puma style, so it can fit all the other existing retrofit applications, and every single PowerPoint is an opportunity in this country for us to add value to the experience. So it's just off with one, on with the other, and you must be a contractor to do it, but it's so easy and familiar, there's no feeling or fear of that. Straight on with the double GPO, and we can unlock the power of the mesh, the power of Zimmy.
Brilliant. So that PowerPoint that you can see on the bottom there, once you've hooked that up and it's wired and it's live, you'll see that there's that blue Powermesh logo in the middle. It's saying it's powered up and it's ready to pair. That's what that signals. So what we do is, we've had some feedback that this is a bit what we look like. We've got the two Muppets here, so apologies for that.
Who's who, Matty, on that screen? I think I'm the fatter bloke on the left.
Yeah, I won't agree or disagree. I'll get myself in trouble there. But what we go to now is, well, how easy is it to set up? So we've got another short video that shows you just how easy it is to pair that PowerPoint to Zimmy, ready to go and to control it. So we'll change back to the computer screen.
Zimmy will automatically start searching for new devices. Hold your phone near the PowerPoint. This may take up to 30 seconds. If you're having problems, make sure your phone software is up to date and your Bluetooth is on. Found it! The logo is pulsing and it's appeared on the screen. Let's continue. To name each switch, or leave as is. Now, choose a room, or create your own. Great. Your device has been added and the Powermesh logo has turned white. Now click the plus to repeat the process to add more Powermesh devices. Nice work. You've finished so quickly.
It really is a simple process, and we've got lots of things that we're doing with behind the scenes networks and processes that can make it yet more efficient. But at the moment, no doubt that once people give Powermesh a try, they'll come back and say, well, that is the easiest and simplest setup that I've ever experienced. So difference number two does cause some debate, because a lot of the technical people that have grown up with Wi-Fi and doing Zigbee and Z-Wave and all these other platforms have started to say, I know Bluetooth is wrong, because Bluetooth traditionally has been considered no good because of its range. But as technology improves, the opportunities for Bluetooth are endless, and Bluetooth 5 is rolling out with a host of new benefits. And we have a bit of fun. If you're not really sure the difference between Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, you can see this little graphic that's been doing the rounds on social media, where men are like Bluetooth. They're connected to you when you're nearby, but searching for other devices when you're not there or you're away. And women are a bit more like Wi-Fi, which sees all devices but connects to the strongest one. So it's a bit of a joke, but really what we want to talk about is what the key differences are in this range. Now, Bluetooth is native to all mobile phones, so it means that anybody is ready to go with Bluetooth, assuming they've got a mobile phone. We also have Bluetooth is extremely energy efficient, right? It's not challenged by the draw of Wi-Fi, which might be providing a network to a range of different devices. It's really the most energy efficient option we've got.
This is why we can do it in a 2i format, and we don't need a neutral if we don't have one because of the low energy we're drawing. So that low energy model is really important for the retrofitability without a neutral.
Absolutely. So products that can be installed, Powermesh products can be installed, most of them with a neutral or no neutral. So the Bluetooth platform also avoids interference with other wireless devices. But what we love about it too is your home network functionality is not compromised by your Wi-Fi speed or the traffic that's on there. So if you've got a home that's completely Wi-Fi'd up and you've got kids watching Netflix in the back room, someone else watching Stan somewhere else, you've got people on the computer downloading things, music playing on Spotify, everything going on here, what then happens is your network can struggle a little bit. You might have some challenges with Wi-Fi, and that will then impact the operation of your home network. With Bluetooth Mesh running its own network, you don't have that problem. So more devices on the Bluetooth Mesh means a stronger network. We'll talk about that in a second. Yep, we will. And Bluetooth pairing is so simple. You saw it on the video before. It's simple and it's familiar. Everyone knows how to pair a Bluetooth device to their car, the phone. So it really is that simple process of pairing. And if there's any disadvantages of Bluetooth, we can pretty much overcome them with the Zimmy Cloud Connect, which is the gateway between Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, but there's very few anyway. So when we come to the next screen, Simon, you might want to just go through the Bluetooth side of things.
Yeah, so Matt's covered it fairly well, and we've got one more screen coming in terms of Bluetooth mesh and devices talking to each other. But I think Matt's outlined it really well. Bluetooth has been a great platform for us to use, and it's constantly evolving. We've dropped the mesh layer over the top, but it also makes the mobile phone. Everyone's got Bluetooth, everyone's got Wi-Fi. We're all paired up with a phone, and we don't need any other devices. In fact, we don't need the hub to start pairing and connecting the devices. We don't need some of those complexities of the other systems. We can just get underway with your basic double power point on your phone and you start to build. Bluetooth mesh up on the screen, you can see there. The beauty of what we've done with Bluetooth, with overlaying a mesh on top, is each device speaks to each other. And the more devices we add to the network, it's a little like the fibre in your shirt. It's a bit like a spider web, I suppose. The more devices that are connected, the stronger the mesh becomes. And so each device becomes a repeater. And so we've got one device that talks to the other device. They all form a mesh. They all form a very strong platform of communication to each other. They're not based on Wi-Fi. They're not based on bandwidth, Matt, and how that's being used. We don't need a lot of bandwidth when it comes to talking line control. We're sending some fairly basic signals around, and it's really exciting. On the screen there also, it just looks at the difference in topology between how a Bluetooth network works and how you've got a host and a star network when it comes to Wi-Fi. Everyone's running back to the central point, but when you've got a mesh, they're all talking to each other and finding their way through the building. So no host required, thousands of devices, extended range, so many other great examples of why the platform that we've worked on for Powermesh, which Zimmy sits on top of, is just simple, low power, easy to install and connect, and not reliant on any Wi-Fi complications. Also, many installers won't have Wi-Fi connected at a new installation, for example. There won't be the router, there won't be that internet connection available. So we're using our phone, we're doing our pairing, we're capturing information completely independent of the Wi-Fi that's going around in or around the installation. So just simple, robust, and familiar, I think.
Absolutely. And we get lots of feedback. I mentioned earlier on our tech helpline, people saying, look, I've tried Wi-Fi, I've got issues. There's problems with getting the modem to sync properly. There's dead spots in their home. There's a range of other things that can occur, whether the phone's not compatible with the system they're trying to run and they can't find devices. People come to us and they find that the Bluetooth mesh is more reliable day to day running this sort of product. And that's why we've got Bluetooth at its core, along with a host of the other benefits that it's got there. So what we also do then is go to number 3, which is you get every option with Powermesh. Everything's available. You'll find many of the other systems that are available on the market, they might have the ability to turn the light on from an app, which probably we find is not used all that often. The app will be used to control schedules and set schedules and the like, but rarely are you going to walk into a room, go to your phone and turn it on from the app. It does happen, but most of the time you'll use a combination of the touch, a tap in another circumstance, talking to access voice control. So the beauty of Powermesh is it enables you to do all these things. You can touch the switch or the socket to control it. You can tap it on your tablet or phone, and you can talk to it. And that's really where you want all of these things, where many products don't provide this, or it's very difficult to provide one of them.
I think, Matt, it's a really important point you raised earlier regarding the issue of touch, and that is there's lots of systems around that can control lights. They've been around globally for a long time. We still, as humans, we're going to go and touch the light switch. We're familiar with it. We're always going to want to have access to the light switch. So again, it brings us back to the electrician. And that is, if we're installing technology to capture this connected spaces opportunity, it's all about controlling it at the existing switch, using those existing switch wires, and be able to take off a product, GPO, power, switch, dimmer, and fan controller, more coming, and make sure that familiarity is that once you've got it installed, of course we're going to want to use switches. You know, installations that have been without switches have been failures. So it's having that touch that we're familiar with, having the phone, and then of course when you add the Zimmy Cloud, you can bring on Google and we can talk to the product as well. So you just get this full suite of options that gives you flexibility, simplicity, and things like that.
Absolutely. And I can't stress enough, I just went through this presentation with our tech team this morning to ask a few questions, and they said just yesterday they had an issue with a customer that was using someone else's product, and they had the challenge where their Wi-Fi was struggling and they weren't able to turn their lights on and off. I mean, that's the sort of thing that can happen with Wi-Fi products that are out there. So all of these products can do that. They can control, give you the touch, tap, and talk options. And that's the range of Powermesh as it stands at the moment, with a range of other things still in development. There's a lot being developed. But we do stress we've done this all based out of Australia. Developed this ourselves, developed it for the contractors of Australia, where most of the other products you're buying have been developed in an overseas market for overseas markets, and they have a lot of little challenges, and if you need help, they'll have to go back overseas to find out. I mean, our development team is right here on the premises where we sit tonight, and we can tailor it and build it exactly how you want it.
It's a really important point, Manny. Everything you see up there on the screen, not just the hardware, we're so familiar with Australian standard hardware devices for electrical. We've been doing it so many years. But the back end of the system at Zimmy that we've created, the architecture we've put together the last couple of years, the software, as Matt said, so many of the other products are based on, you know, you can go and buy certain technologies and just implement them. We've done this from scratch. And so much of that has given us features which we're going to talk to about Mesh and Go and other to make this so Australian-centric, built around the needs of our market, and we're in full control of that platform. So we're just at this early stage too, Matt. The products you see on the screen, we started with a PowerPoint and a light dimmer. We've expanded to fan controllers. We've now got our multi-purpose switches. We've got weatherproof devices. We've got some hippos. We've got some buffaloes. We've got all sorts of things looking at how we can unlock the mesh in everyday electrical accessories for Australia. So it's just the start of a journey. And we're doing all that here in Australia with the feedback we get from the marketplace. So, you know, we're in control of this together, and let's have some fun with it, because there's so much opportunity in the next, you know, year, 2 years, and in the decades to come.
And you do have to listen to your customers, and that's what we try and do at all times, which is why we're doing this at 7 o'clock tonight, because the customers told us in Perth they couldn't get there. And looking at the screen at the moment, we're not sure we've got anyone from WA, but anyway, it was worth a shot. You've got to give it a go. If there is someone from there, WA, thank you for joining us. The other one that's true also is we've got energy monitoring. When you look at many of the other products, they don't. This is a significant selling point for you as a wholesaler or a contractor when selling this product to your customers. People want to know how much power their fridge is using. People want to know what their lights are using. You know, people walk around houses turning the lights off all the time, then they realise really it was costing them 1 cent for whatever period of time it might be. So on the left-hand side there, it shows you how many watts, kilowatts per hour are being utilised by each device at any one time. And then on the right, you can put in your electricity cost, and it gives you an online feed of just what any of those products are costing you in terms of dollars and cents. This, again, I stress, is a selling point that you can use with your clients when they're sitting there trying to understand, why do I want this product? Why do I want to have connected spaces or smart home control, or however we want to term it? This is one of the key benefits that we're able to get across, and they love to find this information out.
It's a wonderful selling feature, and when you show the end user, not only can we touch, tap and talk, but we can also see what we're using. They just go, wow, all that happens with that one device. The other thing that I found, Matt, I just installed a Powermesh fan controller down at the beach house, and I just play around, control it remotely from time to time. By seeing the current draw on my phone, I know it's running. You know, oh yeah, I know that light is running. And so you can see the current draw, you know the load's running, you can, if you want to see what it costs you. And I think it just, again, opens up all sorts of opportunities to value add and upsell based on having that unique at-point current sensing energy draw. What a wonderful way to upsell any device for the contractor. So just a great extra feature when it comes to Powermesh.
So moving along, because we don't want to keep you too long on a Wednesday night, but look, the reality is for us, Powermesh has the best back end of any of the products in the market now. Now, what I mean by that, and we have got a lot of debate on social media about the way that we structured our system, because we do feed information back to a central point via the cloud. And it can be a touchy point, but we're able to say, do you want to share or not share that data? But the reality is that means that we have the ability to work out what's going on when you have an issue, and we can help you resolve it. Right? No one else has that. They'll have to call the local sales representative. They'll have to go and visit the site.
And it's another callback. We've got to try and stop it and help the industry solve what are sometimes simple problems without having to go back. We can use the power of the cloud to do that.
Yep. And it's, look, we're not sitting here saying our products are perfect. They're close to it. But I've got a fan controller that was on test in my place. I had some issues. The guys were able to look at what was happening behind the scenes and correct it for me without ever needing to even go back to the house at all whatsoever. So that sort of information is what it's all about, is how do we offer that? So if you want to have faith in a product that you're putting in, and the fact that we're trying to eliminate the need for you to go back and have to correct it if there's a problem, we can help diagnose those issues over the phone. So when you're sitting there thinking, if it goes wrong, I don't want to get into this, it's too hard, really never fear, Powermesh is here. So the next 1.4 of why we're different is Mesh and Go. I know this is your passion, Simon.
This is as Matt just explained before, this is a really simple way of providing a link between the installer and the end user. And in many cases for contractors, we're installing products when the end user's not around. In many cases, we might be installing product in new installations where it doesn't yet have an end user. We're in a new home build. We might be actually wiring product, getting it working, not knowing who we're working for in the cases of new builders or subcontractors and other things. So what we've done with Mesh and Go is we've formed a way that the contractors of Australia can install and get the product going, and then we can later on link that power to the end user. So what we call Mesh and Go. You can see on the screen now, there's a couple of ways to do that in the app. We log on as the installer, we do the fixed light installation, we pair the device, we get it working. Then we can say we want a Mesh and Go. And we can either send an email to our client or we can leave a calling card. And up there, I think on the next slide, Matt, there's a little card. These are available now. You can order them from us. And that allows you to basically park the mesh in a car park on a unique code with a QR code, and it stores that and it parks it for later use. So if I'm a contractor, I've done the install, end user's not there, I can scan that card, I can leave that calling card in the installation, and then later on, I'm the end user. As an example on the screen there, I can little sticky back, put it up next to the switch that I've organised. The end user can come along, download the software, and just scan it. And what it does, it'll bring down that secured Bluetooth mesh database that we've paired up, stored in the cloud. It'll bring that down onto the end user's phone. So in 30 seconds, couple of minutes, the end user can unlock the full power of the mesh that you've installed months earlier. So this is a wonderful way to link the fact that contractors' fixed line devices will be done at different times to the end user experience, and we can share that over the cloud. That's why it's so important to have such a robust, strong back end to allow us to share these cloud databases and mesh networks over the cloud, so we're not relying on the end user having to come home and repair it. That would be hopeless. Or having the contractor to go back, as in the case with my old place with CBus, and do it all for me. This allows us to work together in partnership with something as simple as Mesh and Go. If you haven't had a go at it, it is quite like magic. I know that we've done some of these presentations, Matt, live in our roadshows, and we're showing products to groups of people. And when you get someone up from the crowd, or Matt and I do it, we pair it up, get it going, and then you watch the magic of Mesh and Go. It never stops putting the hairs on the back of my neck from standing up, because you look at it and go, my goodness, that is absolutely fantastic, and that can help us a lot. So a really great added benefit as to why Trader, Zimmy, Mesh and Go, Powermesh is so important.
Very clear. And the other thing that can be done here is when you do Mesh and Go and you send that network off to your client, then is no longer on your phone. If your client wants to, they can then invite you back as the contractor to have access to their network should you need to do so.
You can share networks, you can have multiple users, you can share it with your family. And again, because all this work has been done by us, we're only at the very start of the journey. The opportunities for this to evolve into far more feature-rich opportunities for everyone is huge. So, you know, this is just a start of a journey for us, and it's showing some of the things we can do if we turn our minds to the real problems that contractors have about sharing databases when they're not around.
So, coming towards the close, and we want to cover off on a couple more items. One is using Zimmy is a cinch. Okay, we've developed it really with the consumer in mind. We try and make it as easy for the contractor to do the setup, as we discussed, but then it's about the consumer using it. And most of Zimmy is set up similar to an iPhone and utilising some of the Android components to it on an Android phone, and that is trying to use schedules and things like that are used in a way that you would on a phone, so that it's very familiar to the user. We're just going to show you a short video again of some of the key features being operated on the Zimmy app now.
So quickly. Okay, let's look at some of the features in Zimmy. Start with the control page, where you can simply turn PowerPoints off and on with the touch of your finger. To control things in another room, just touch the room and choose one. Now, let's set up an automatic schedule here for the coffee machine. Let's turn on at 7:45 a.m. every day so it's ready in the morning, and then turn off at 10 a.m. just in case someone forgets to turn it off. Voila! That's how easy it is to set up automatic schedules. Zimmy also lets you see how much power that coffee machine is using. Select energy use. Then enter your electricity price. You can switch between the amount of power being used and the actual cost in dollars and cents. The last screen in Zimmy is the device settings. Choose one to configure its settings. There's a range of really useful settings here, such as turning on energy alerts, renaming the switch, and updating the firmware if needed. Well done! You've seen how easy it is to install a PowerPoint and how simple it is to control using Zimmy.
What we're going to do now is we've only got two really quick little benefits that, again, is the reason why we think Powermesh is a bit different to everybody else's. The next one, I know, another passion of yours, Simon, we did cover it off briefly in the last one, but again, we just want to stress for those of you that are new to the roadshow, what Behaviourlink can do for you.
Behaviourlink is something that's been fantastic and it's been so well received. We're not going to cover it. I think Jordan did an excellent job during the last roadshow in going through the nuances of Behaviourlink, how it's installed and how to get the full benefit from it. But in a nutshell, it's a wonderful way to turn any spare switch that we might have to control any other Powermesh device on the network. And so if we're looking for additional switches, two-way switching, three-way switching, master offs in time, if we want to control a GPO outside that's controlling garden lighting, for example, Matt, we can do that from a switch inside. You raised the issue before about touch and tap and talk. And I think, yeah, we could set up an outdoor PowerPoint to use on your phone, but if you've got a one-game switch inside and you put a two-game Powermesh switch up there, we can control that one load. That next, as you can see there, that spare switch that's there, we can link that to any other Powermesh device using the Behaviourlink all on the software GUI, and we could turn that into an outdoor lighting to turn on the GPO outside. So it's just the simplicity of adding additional links and again, what we're doing is we're solving problems. Instead of running control cable, we're saying Powermesh can solve a problem where you want to control the load outside, and you can do it through the mesh by a spare switch inside that's not being used. So there's just another way to unlock solutions to problems that contractors have in their daily lives every day. Behaviourlink, it's going to grow and develop. Watch this space. Again, it's just solving problems for electricians to make our lives easier.
Yeah, and we get feedback every day in the tech team, just people that are coming up with new ways of doing it. The other day we had a guy who had a dimmer outdoors on his deck and wanted to control that from a separate switch inside the home. We set that up with Powermesh and it was done really easily and they were wrapped with the result. So the other one that comes up regularly is a Powermesh switch, two-gang downstairs that can control a Powermesh switch upstairs, right? Gives you that multi-way switching.
And I think, Matt, you did a video, if I can recall, and there's a number of these there. You were controlling a bug zapper, I think. You might have been using your voice or something. Again, if you've got a bug zapper outside, you can put a Powermesh GPO up there controlling that bug zapper. And if you don't want to use your voice or you don't want to use your phone, you can link that back to a Powermesh switch inside and control the bug zapper without any cables. And straight away, we've got, you've got a client saying, wow, isn't that wonderful? And we can do it. We can do it very quickly without all the nuances of running additional control cables. So just solving problems for contractors with our technology.
Excellent. So the last slide that we'll go through as an official discussion is the scalability and scalable of what Powermesh can do. Now, again, some products, the traditional wired system where you had to go and run some communications cable all through the building before you could even consider what you were going to do with your layout in terms of your electrical control system. Powermesh enables you to do it starting small and trade up, right? And what we find is this is addictive. People are becoming, and I'm not really not exaggerating here, people are becoming addicted once they put in one PowerPoint. So say they come to you and say, I'd like to put a PowerPoint on my heated towel rail so I can have a schedule so that it comes on in the morning, turns off 3 hours later, and then comes back on in the evening, or it's set with a rundown timer where every time it's turned on by the kids, it only runs for 2-3 hours and then turns itself off. They start with one PowerPoint. They call you in, you do the job, and they start to play with it. And they go, wow, I didn't realise the power of the mesh. I didn't know how good this was. What else can I do? So in August 2020, you put in one. You then get called back, and they say, well, actually, I've got a dimmer that I'd like to have controlled from voice. Could you come back, install the Zimmy Cloud to empower the voice control and put that dimmer in? And that's in November 2020, and then before you know it, they get more ideas. They go, well, actually, I'm starting to think, what about this and what about that? I've got a 3-gang switch, and I'd like to then connect that back to something else, and we can go through in February. They'll then give you another call, and my button's not working. We've got the team doing it, a fan controller. Then they come back and they're getting carried away. They've got 4 gangs, 3 gangs. They want to put PowerPoints in. Then they come back and they want a 2-gang. And what you'll find is this gives you opportunities to then engage with that customer again, to find more solutions to more of their problems. There may be problems they didn't even know they had, but they're starting to think, what can I do? Well, all of a sudden I've got voice control. My kids have gone nuts with this in terms of all the different things they can do, and they love every time they use voice control with their mates. The kids go home and we get more sales because they go and tell their parents that they need voice control.
And I can jump in here and you can hear the passion in Maddie's voice, and I can tell you from knowing Matt well, I think that's your home, Matt.
Yeah.
And you started off
exactly
with one way, and all of a sudden it grew, and the power of the mesh, it becomes addictive. And I think you ended up with 18 or 19 devices, and with 32, which is great. And it just goes to show you. And this, look at what we've just described there from Matt. If every contractor in Australia went out there and just gave a go with a double GPO with the power of the mesh, or just did one simple switch or dimmer and added some voice, we can get the Australian market addicted to opportunities to make their life easier. And it only takes 1 or 2 goes. And then all of a sudden, contractors are getting familiar, and users are saying, I want more, and we've sort of got a perfect storm.
Absolutely.
And we can grow it and develop it. And because there's no wires, and because it's truly retrofittable, it is scalable. And this is also great not only for existing homes, but for the new home builder. And again, we can offer a basic starter package with 1 or 2 devices, get the end user to experience it, understand it, and then we can scale it as and when the budget allows. Because you might just do one for a couple $100, and you might end up with a full system, and you can do it over time. And I think there's always arguments in the domestic budget, isn't there, about where to spend your money. We all go through them, having domestic arguments with our wives or our husbands or our partners about where we're spending our money in the house. So we can start small, and then we can grow and develop as we get familiar with the technology. So scalability is just so important for the fact that it makes it easy for us to sell. We don't have to sell a system. We can sell one basic solution to one basic problem, turning on a heated towel run, right?
So it starts.
Making a coffee machine come on in the morning so the coffee machine's warm. We start a storm, and then over we go and we add to it. So this is really, really important for the sell job of us as an industry to get more out there, because scalability gives affordability. Start small, grow and develop as and when your budget allows.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and that really is what we've observed. If you try and sell home automation as a package, I'm going to automate your whole home. People go, oh, what does that mean? What's it going to cost dollars? Whereas if you just go, you might be going in to replace a ceiling sweep fan, and you say, well, would you like a Powermesh controller with that? What's the Powermesh controller? They start to get an understanding. You can set schedules. You can have it run. Wow, I'm going to give that a try.
Can I do that with a light switch in the kids' bedroom? Of course you can, Madam. You can link the 2 together. You can then create a scene. And then all of a sudden, it starts to get, my goodness, I can do all this over time.
Absolutely.
Do I have to run any cables? Are you going to be here for a long time? No. It's me. I'm just going to change over a device, going to get it paired up, and I'll let you have a go. So, it's the scalability is critical, and a reason why Powermesh and what we're doing is so important, so much different than perhaps some of the other options.
Excellent. So really, what we've done there, we've gone through the presentation for you guys.
It's time, maybe 45 minutes.
45 minutes. We've got Q&A. Now, we didn't have the screen up there with questions. I don't think we were inundated with questions. We might have answered a few in the process. Cass, are they any? You've been very quiet.
We've answered a couple there, and we've got a few more going. But you're welcome to send questions through any time during these presentations. Sometimes we get lots, sometimes we don't get very many, and maybe, Matt, we've answered everything, we've sold everyone, and it's all very positive. But we're going to keep doing these. We're going to keep at it, and we're going to keep getting out there and providing the opportunity for people to learn about our product. Not just live here like we're doing now. This is being recorded. It's so people can watch it back. And if you've got any questions, let us know, and let's keep getting them flowing. We'll keep working with you on ideas and solutions.
There is an interesting comment here, just saying we've got I think it's a systems integrator saying you're cutting my lunch. So it's a bit interesting. We have had that sort of a comment in the past, where systems integrators who charge big dollars for all these wonderful systems. It is going to become a bit of a different market for them, and they're going to face different challenges because some of this product can do very easily what they've been doing for big dollars. So this really gives everyone the power to jump on in and make it all happen.
Got a nice question there in terms of flat cat. Is there a flat cat variance? Absolutely. What we're going to try and do is embrace this technology and get it behind all sorts of different forms of bakelite, whether it's our leopard, which we've got, whether it's our flat cat and other products that evolve. One of the challenges with flat cat is a physical one, and that is we've got X amount of technology to fit back in the wall box. We've got 84mm mounting centres, we've got 50mm deep, we've got to be able to wire it. So the more we go from the front of the wall to the back of the wall, and we try and get it as slim as possible, the more we've got to fit in that small space in terms of that retrofit opportunity. So Craig, it's going to be a balance between what we can get in the back of the wall and what we've got to keep out the front. So flat cat being only 4mm thin, it's a difficult challenge. But as we get going and as we learn more and as we get to version 2 and version 3 and it gets smaller and it gets smarter, we'll work on Bluetooth 5. We'll work on getting it more compact. So the answer is yes. We'll continue to reduce the size with volume and try and get it to be compatible with all the different bakelite that we have in our stable at Trader.
So another question from Glenn, just saying, are you looking at making your system controllable by systems such as Control 4 or Crestron, etc.?
The answer there is absolutely. Jordan and I were discussing this only yesterday in presentations we put forward the next 12 months in terms of our development roadmap for the Trader team, and we're going to have a Zimi cloud and a bunch of Zimi APIs that will allow us to talk to other systems. So again, we're at the start of this journey, and so there's lots of other systems out there, Control 4, Crestron, clearly CBus and other opportunities, and yes, we'll have a bunch of APIs that will allow those more sophisticated installers to be able to link and talk to the mesh into Zimi. So we're working on all those things as we speak, and the system will evolve in not only its simplicity, but also in its ability to be able to link with those other wide products that are traditionally out there.
Right. There's another question there, and I might have to, Jordan's not here today. That's the perfect question for Jordan, unless you're aware of it's on.
Yeah, shortcuts. But, I think for HomeKit, you can explain more on this. I think JT's on there. We might take that one on notice, Matt, and we'll get back to you on that. Thanks for that question. Jordan, I could wing it, but Jordan would be better. So I think we'll let Jordan handle that.
So we've got the details, Matt. We can come back to you and answer that specifically because Jordan has done that himself and he can go through it. I haven't given that a go myself. All right. Happy to take any other questions. Otherwise, we hope you've enjoyed.
There's some more coming through, but I think what we should do, Matt, is we should wrap it up. Just as a few packs available, correct? To sell, have a go. And all the questions we get coming through now, we'll get back to you guys and girls a bit later on and follow it through, so no problem.
Yep, absolutely. So guys, really the key out of all of this is what we suggest. If you haven't had a go, or even if you have, give these a try. We've got 2 packs that are great little starter kits, great value available. We've got them on the Zimi shop at the moment, which you can go and buy, and what we do is facilitate that order through the wholesaler of your choice. So you tell us who the wholesaler is in that process.
So important for us, Matty, to support our wholesalers around Australia. We want to make it easy. We want to make sure these tricks get out there, but you must select a wholesaler, and we'll work and facilitate that business with our wholesale partners that have got stock right around the country. But this is a wonderful way to get some cards, a box of tricks. It's a give it a go pack.
Absolutely.
And it's try the things, because once we get people going, you'll enjoy it, your client will enjoy it, and you do more. So we really urge you to give it a go, to get yourself a box of tricks.
Yep. Gold,
silver, buy them now, grab a deck of cards. You saw us last time, I think you and I, Matt, we did the 52 trick thing. Yep. It worked really well. And again, it's just a simple way for electricians out there to use the cards to initiate some thought, some design, some problem solving. because ultimately what we're doing is we're solving a whole lot of problems and making the installation and the contractors' lives easier. So Powermesh is all about that, and there's a QR code you can scan to take you straight to the site for the tricks.
Absolutely.
If you want to purchase it now, obviously facilitating through a wholesale.
Definitely. And you can go straight there from here, or just go to the Zimmy shop, which is shop.zimmy.life that you can see there, and you'll be able to get there, and we'll get it underway. So lots of other questions are starting to flow through. What we'll do is get back to each of you individually, because we are going to run a bit tight on time. But really, we thank you. We hope you've enjoyed a beer or a glass of wine or a sparkling mineral water or whatever you've done this evening. It's been great sharing the evening with you.
Terrific.
And we look forward to catching up next time on one of our virtual roadshows.
Thanks very much, and we look forward to catching up with you next time. We'll keep doing that. We've enjoyed it, and thanks for being part of it. And if you're watching us on a replay, thanks for doing that as well, and we'll keep at it, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Good night.